My cheating wife's karma hit hard. Her affair partner was a scammer who stole everything. Anna and her husband, Mark, shared a relationship that spanned over 7 years, with 5 of those years spent in a committed marriage. Their journey began in college, where they met during a group project. From the very start, there was an undeniable chemistry between them. They quickly became inseparable, sharing dreams, laughter, and a deep emotional connection that seemed unbreakable. Their initial years together were filled with adventure and exploration as they navigated the challenges of young adulthood side by side. They supported each other through exams, job searches, and the ups and downs of life, building a solid foundation of trust and love that many envied. As their relationship progressed, Anna and Mark decided to take the plunge into marriage, believing they were ready to solidify their bond. Their wedding was a beautiful celebration of their love, surrounded by family and friends who cheered for their future together. In those early years of marriage, they experienced a blissful honeymoon phase, filled with romantic getaways and shared dreams of building a life together. They were a team, tackling everything from household chores to planning for their future. Their love was palpable, and they often spoke about their hopes for a family and a home filled with laughter. Financial stability was another cornerstone of their relationship. Both Anna and Mark had established careers, allowing them to enjoy a comfortable lifestyle. Mark worked in a stable corporate job, while Anna had recently discovered a passion for personal finance. This newfound interest became a significant part of her life, as she immersed herself in learning about budgeting, investing, and financial planning. Anna's enthusiasm for personal finance not only empowered her but also brought a new dynamic to their relationship. She began to take the lead in managing their finances, creating budgets, and exploring investment opportunities. Mark appreciated Anna's proactive approach, and together they made plans for their future, discussing everything from retirement savings to potential home purchases. However, as Anna delved deeper into her financial pursuits, she began to change in ways that Mark didn't fully understand. While her passion for personal finance was initially a bonding experience for them, it gradually became an obsession. Anna started spending more time on her financial projects, attending seminars, and networking with like-minded individuals. Mark, who was supportive of her interests, noticed that Anna was increasingly distracted and less present in their relationship. The late nights spent poring over spreadsheets and investment strategies began to take a toll on their once vibrant connection. Despite the growing distance, Mark remained hopeful. He believed that Anna's passion would eventually balance out and that they would return to the closeness they once shared. He often tried to engage her in conversations about their finances, hoping to rekindle their teamwork. However, Anna's focus had shifted, and she found herself drawn to a new social circle that revolved around her financial interests. This shift created an emotional gap between them, as Anna became more absorbed in her pursuits, leaving Mark feeling increasingly isolated. As the years passed, the cracks in their relationship began to widen. The initial trust and love they had built started to erode, replaced by misunderstandings and unspoken frustrations. Mark felt neglected, while Anna struggled to balance her ambitions with her marital responsibilities. The once harmonious partnership began to feel strained, and the love that had once flourished now seemed overshadowed by Anna's growing obsession with her financial goals. In this tumultuous environment, Anna's choices began to reflect her internal struggles. The allure of newfound independence and the excitement of her financial endeavors led her down a path she never anticipated. The trust that had been the bedrock of their relationship was now under threat, as Anna found herself at a crossroads, torn between her ambitions and the love she once cherished. The foundation of their marriage, built on years of shared experiences and dreams, was now fragile, setting the stage for the dramatic events that would soon unfold. As we continue to explore Anna's journey, we will witness how the dynamics of their relationship shifted and the consequences that followed, ultimately leading to a reckoning that neither of them could have foreseen. As Anna's interest in personal finance blossomed, it quickly transformed into an all-consuming obsession that began to overshadow her relationship with Mark. What started as a simple curiosity about budgeting and saving evolved into a fervent pursuit of knowledge and expertise. Anna began attending various finance seminars, drawn in by the promise of financial independence and the allure of mastering the art of investing. These events became a regular part of her life, where she immersed herself in workshops, lectures, and networking opportunities. Each seminar introduced her to new concepts, strategies, and a community of like-minded individuals who shared her passion for financial literacy. One of the pivotal moments in Anna's journey was her mentorship with Dylan, a charismatic financial advisor she met at one of the seminars. Dylan was not only knowledgeable, but also exuded an infectious enthusiasm for wealth-building strategies. He became a guiding figure for Anna, providing her with insights that fueled her ambition. Under his mentorship, Anna learned about stock market investments, real estate opportunities, and the intricacies of retirement planning. Dylan's influence was profound. He encouraged her to think big and take calculated risks, igniting a fire within her that she had never experienced before. As she absorbed his teachings, Anna began to envision a future where she could achieve financial freedom, independent of traditional employment. However, this newfound passion came with a price. Anna's dedication to her financial pursuits consumed her time and energy, leading her to prioritize seminars and meetings with Dylan over her responsibilities at home. Mark, who had always been supportive of Anna's interests, found himself increasingly sidelined. He struggled to understand the depth of her obsession, often feeling like an outsider in her world of finance. While Anna thrived in her new environment, Mark's limited understanding of finance and investments created a barrier between them. He had always approached money with a more traditional mindset, focusing on saving rather than investing. This difference in perspective left him feeling inadequate and frustrated. As he watched Anna dive deeper into a realm he found difficult to navigate. Social media played a significant role in amplifying Anna's obsession. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok were flooded with finance influencers who showcased their wealth-building journeys, offering tips and tricks that captivated Anna's attention. She found herself scrolling through countless posts and videos, absorbing advice on everything from cryptocurrency to passive income streams. The influencers she followed often portrayed a glamorous lifestyle, filled with luxury cars, exotic vacations, and financial success. This constant exposure to aspirational content fueled Anna's desire to achieve similar results, pushing her to invest more time and resources into her financial education. As Anna became more entrenched in this online community, her priorities shifted. She began to adopt the mindset that financial success was not just a goal but a lifestyle. The influencers she admired often emphasized the importance of hustle and relentless pursuit, which resonated deeply with Anna. She started to view her financial journey as a race, one that required her to stay ahead of the curve and constantly seek new opportunities. This mentality further distanced her from Mark, who remained grounded in his more cautious approach to finances. While Anna was eager to take risks and explore new avenues, Mark preferred stability and security, leading to a growing rift in their relationship. The impact of Anna's obsession was palpable. Conversations that once revolved around their shared dreams and aspirations shifted to discussions about stocks, investment strategies, and financial trends. Mark often felt overwhelmed and out of his depth, struggling to engage in conversations that had become increasingly technical and complex. He longed for the days when they would discuss their future together, but now, those discussions were overshadowed by Anna's fervor for finance. The emotional connection they once shared began to fray as Anna's focus shifted entirely to her financial ambitions. As Anna continued to immerse herself in the world of personal finance, the consequences of her obsession became more pronounced. The late nights spent researching investment opportunities and attending seminars took a toll on her relationship with Mark. He felt neglected and unappreciated, as Anna's passion for finance consumed her time and attention. The trust that had once been the foundation of their marriage began to erode, replaced by feelings of isolation and frustration. Mark's limited understanding of finance left him feeling powerless to bridge the growing gap between them, while Anna's relentless pursuit of financial success blinded her to the emotional cost of her choices. In this whirlwind of ambition and obsession, Anna found herself at a crossroads. The excitement of her financial journey was intoxicating, but it came with a heavy price. As we continue to explore Anna's story, we will witness how her choices and the dynamics of her relationship with Mark evolve, ultimately leading to a dramatic reckoning that neither of them could have anticipated. The themes of ambition, obsession, and the consequences of neglecting love will resonate throughout this narrative, reminding us of the delicate balance between personal pursuits and the relationships we hold dear. As Anna's obsession with personal finance deepened, Mark began to notice a troubling shift in her behavior that raised significant concerns about their relationship. The excessive time Anna spent with her mentor, Dylan, became increasingly apparent. What had started as a healthy pursuit of knowledge soon morphed into a near-constant presence in her life. Anna would often attend seminars and meetings with Dylan, sometimes spending entire weekends engrossed in financial discussions and networking events. While Mark initially supported her ambitions, he soon found himself feeling sidelined and neglected. The late nights spent away from home and the frequent phone calls with Dylan left Mark feeling like an afterthought in Anna's life. He longed for the days when they would spend quality time together, sharing their thoughts and dreams. But those moments became scarce as Anna's focus shifted entirely to her financial pursuits. Mark's concerns deepened as he observed Anna's changing demeanor. Alongside her growing obsession with finance, he noticed a significant shift in her clothing choices. Anna, who had once favored comfortable and casual attire, began to wear more provocative outfits that seemed out of character for her. Mark couldn't help but feel unsettled by this transformation. The clothes she chose were often form-fitting and attention-grabbing, drawing the eyes of those around her. While he wanted to support Anna's newfound confidence, he couldn't shake the feeling that her wardrobe changes were linked to her time spent with Dylan and the influence of the finance community she had immersed herself in. Mark's mind raced with questions. Was Anna trying to impress Dylan? Did she seek validation from others? The uncertainty gnawed at him, creating a sense of unease that he couldn't ignore. As the distance between them grew, Mark felt increasingly isolated. He found himself yearning for connection, but every attempt to engage Anna in meaningful conversation was met with distraction or disinterest. When he tried to discuss their relationship or express his feelings, Anna would often brush him off, her mind preoccupied with financial strategies or the latest investment trends. Mark felt as though he was speaking to a wall, his words falling on deaf ears. The emotional intimacy they once shared had been replaced by a chasm of silence, leaving him feeling lonely and disconnected. He missed the laughter, the shared dreams, and the simple joy of being together. Instead, he was left grappling with a growing sense of abandonment, as Anna's priorities shifted away from their relationship and toward her financial ambitions. Mark's feelings of isolation were compounded by the fact that he struggled to understand Anna's world of finance. While he had always been responsible with money, his approach was rooted in caution and stability. He preferred to save rather than invest, and the complexities of the financial world often felt overwhelming to him. As Anna delved deeper into her financial pursuits, she spoke a language that Mark found difficult to grasp. The technical jargon and investment strategies she discussed felt foreign, further alienating him from her interests. He wanted to be supportive, but he felt inadequate and out of place in conversations that had become increasingly focused on numbers and market trends. This disconnect only fueled his feelings of isolation as he watched Anna thrive in a world that he felt excluded from. The combination of Anna's excessive time with Dylan, her provocative clothing choices, and the emotional distance that had developed between them left Mark feeling lost. He began to question the foundation of their relationship, wondering if the love they once shared could withstand the strain of Anna's obsession. The trust that had been built over years was now clouded by doubt and insecurity. Mark found himself grappling with a whirlwind of emotions, anger, sadness, and confusion, as he tried to make sense of the changes in Anna and their relationship. In his moments of reflection, Mark often replayed memories of their early days together, when they were a team, united in their dreams and aspirations. He longed for that connection, but it felt increasingly out of reach. The more Anna immersed herself in her financial pursuits, the more he felt like a spectator in her life. He wanted to be part of her journey, to share in her successes and challenges, but instead, he felt like an outsider watching from the sidelines. As Mark's concerns grew, he knew he had to confront Anna about the changes he had observed. He hoped that by expressing his feelings, he could bridge the gap that had formed between them. However, he also feared that his words might push her further away. The thought of losing Anna to her obsession was a painful reality he struggled to accept. He found himself at a crossroads, torn between wanting to support her ambitions and needing to protect their relationship. In this emotional turmoil, Mark began to realize that he could no longer remain passive. He needed to address the growing concerns about Anna's behavior and the impact it was having on their marriage. As he prepared to confront her, he felt a mix of anxiety and determination. The stakes were high, and he knew that the future of their relationship depended on how they navigated this challenging chapter together. The themes of love, trust, and the consequences of obsession would soon come to a head, setting the stage for a pivotal moment in their journey. Mark's growing concerns about Anna's behavior reached a boiling point when he decided to take matters into his own hands. The nagging feeling that something was amiss had become unbearable, and he felt compelled to investigate her activities further. He began by discreetly observing her patterns, tracking the times she left for meetings, the late-night phone calls, and the increasing frequency of her outings with Dylan. Each passing day only deepened his unease, as he noted the way Anna's demeanor had changed and how her focus had shifted away from their relationship. The more he watched, the more convinced he became that there was something more than just a professional mentorship at play. Mark's investigation led him to dig deeper into Anna's social media accounts, where he discovered a series of messages exchanged between her and Dylan. The tone of their conversations was flirtatious and intimate, filled with inside jokes and playful banter that made Mark's stomach churn. He felt a wave of nausea wash over him as he read through the exchanges, each message confirming his worst fears. The trust he had placed in Anna began to crumble, replaced by a sense of betrayal that he could hardly comprehend. The realization that the woman he loved was engaging in a relationship that went beyond friendship was devastating. It was as if the ground had been pulled out from under him, leaving him reeling in shock and disbelief. Determined to confront Anna about his findings, Mark arranged to meet her at a local cafe, a place that had once been a favorite spot for their dates. As he sat at a small table, his heart raced with a mix of anxiety and anger. He replayed the conversations in his mind, trying to prepare himself for the confrontation that lay ahead. When Anna arrived, she greeted him with a smile that felt painfully disingenuous. Mark could see the excitement in her eyes, but it only fueled his resolve to uncover the truth. As they settled into their seats, Mark took a deep breath, steeling himself for what he was about to say. He began by expressing his concerns about her recent behavior, carefully outlining the changes he had observed. Anna listened, her expression shifting from confusion to defensiveness as he laid out the evidence he had gathered. When he finally revealed the messages he had found, the atmosphere in the cafe shifted dramatically. Anna's face paled, and for a moment, silence enveloped them. Mark's heart raced as he watched her process the weight of his words. Finally, Anna broke the silence, her voice trembling as she admitted to the affair. The admission felt like a punch to Mark's gut, and he struggled to process the reality of her betrayal. The words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of their implications. Anna explained that her relationship with Dylan had started innocently enough, but as they spent more time together, it had evolved into something deeper. She spoke of the thrill and excitement she felt, the way Dylan had made her feel alive in a way she hadn't experienced in years. Each word cut deeper, leaving Mark feeling hollow and betrayed. In that moment, Mark's emotional turmoil reached a crescendo. He felt a whirlwind of conflicting emotions, anger, sadness, and disbelief. The woman he had loved and trusted had shattered their bond in a way he never thought possible. Memories of their shared laughter, dreams, and plans for the future flooded his mind, now tainted by the reality of her infidelity. He struggled to reconcile the woman sitting across from him with the person he had built a life with. The betrayal felt like a knife twisting in his heart, and he fought back tears as he grappled with the enormity of the situation. Mark's feelings of isolation intensified as he realized that Anna had not only betrayed his trust, but had also chosen to confide in someone else instead of him. The emotional distance that had grown between them now felt insurmountable. He had always believed that their love could weather any storm, but this revelation shattered that belief. The pain of her betrayal was compounded by the realization that Anna had sought validation and excitement outside of their marriage, leaving him feeling inadequate and unworthy. As the confrontation continued, Mark struggled to find the right words. He wanted to express his hurt and anger, but he also felt a deep sense of loss. The future they had envisioned together now seemed bleak and uncertain. He questioned whether their relationship could ever recover from such a profound breach of trust. The cafe, once a symbol of their love, now felt like a prison, trapping him in a moment of heartbreak that he couldn't escape. Anna, for her part, seemed genuinely remorseful. Her eyes filled with tears as she tried to explain her actions. She spoke of her struggles with her identity and the pressures she felt in her pursuit of financial success. But Mark found it difficult to listen. The reasons behind her infidelity felt hollow in the face of the pain she had caused him. He wanted to believe that they could work through this, but the road ahead seemed daunting and fraught with challenges. As they sat in the cafe, surrounded by the chatter of other patrons, Mark felt utterly alone. The weight of Anna's admission hung heavily between them, a chasm that seemed impossible to bridge. He realized that their relationship would never be the same again, and the journey toward healing would require immense effort from both of them. The confrontation marked a turning point in their lives, one that would force them to confront the reality of their choices and the consequences that followed. In that moment, Mark understood that the path ahead would be fraught with uncertainty, but he also knew that he had to make a choice about the future of their relationship. In the wake of the shocking revelation of Anna's affair, the atmosphere between her and Mark was charged with tension and heartbreak. As they sat across from each other in the cafe, Anna desperately attempted to justify her actions, framing her infidelity as a misguided attempt to secure their future. She spoke passionately about her newfound ambitions and the financial independence she had sought, arguing that her relationship with Dylan had been a way to explore opportunities that could ultimately benefit both of them. "I thought I was doing this for us," she insisted, her voice trembling with a mix of desperation and conviction. "I wanted to learn from someone who was successful, to bring that knowledge back to our life together." Mark listened, but the words felt hollow. He could hardly reconcile the woman he loved with the one who had betrayed him so profoundly. Anna's attempts to rationalize her actions only deepened his sense of betrayal. It was as if she was trying to rewrite the narrative of her infidelity, casting herself as a victim of circumstance rather than acknowledging the pain she had caused. Mark felt a surge of anger rise within him. How could she possibly think that her actions were justified? The trust that had once been the bedrock of their relationship was now shattered, and her explanations felt like a feeble attempt to absolve herself of responsibility. As the conversation progressed, Mark's resolve began to solidify. He realized that he could no longer remain in a relationship built on deceit and betrayal. The love they had shared felt irreparably damaged, and the emotional distance between them had grown insurmountable. With a heavy heart, he made the decision to end their relationship and initiate divorce. The words felt like lead in his mouth as he uttered them, but he knew it was the only way forward. "I can't do this anymore, Anna. I can't be with someone who doesn't value our relationship," he said, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. Anna's reaction was one of disbelief and anger. "You can't be serious. After everything we've built together," she exclaimed, her eyes wide with shock. She seemed unable to grasp the gravity of the situation, her focus still on her own narrative rather than the pain she had inflicted on Mark. The lack of genuine remorse in her voice cut deeper than any words could express. It was as if she was more concerned about the loss of their life together than the emotional devastation her actions had caused. Mark felt a wave of sadness wash over him. The woman he had once admired and loved was now a stranger, someone who had chosen to prioritize her desires over their shared commitment. As the reality of the situation settled in, Mark found himself grappling with a whirlwind of emotions. The decision to end their marriage was not made lightly. It was a culmination of heartache, betrayal, and a profound sense of loss. He felt a deep sadness for the life they had envisioned together, now reduced to shattered dreams and broken promises. The emotional struggle was overwhelming as he wrestled with feelings of anger, grief, and confusion. How had they arrived at this point? The memories of their happier times played in his mind like a haunting melody, reminding him of the love they once shared. In the days that followed, Mark found himself in a state of emotional turmoil. He oscillated between moments of clarity and deep sorrow, questioning whether he had made the right decision. The weight of the divorce loomed over him, a constant reminder of the life he was leaving behind. He felt isolated, as if he were navigating a stormy sea without a compass. Friends and family offered their support, but Mark struggled to articulate the depth of his pain. He felt like he was living in a fog, unable to fully process the reality of his situation. Meanwhile, Anna seemed to move through the aftermath with a sense of detachment. While Mark was consumed by grief, she appeared more focused on her own narrative, trying to convince herself that she had acted in their best interest. Her lack of genuine remorse left Mark feeling even more isolated. He had hoped for a moment of vulnerability, a sign that she understood the gravity of her actions, but instead, he was met with defensiveness and denial. It was as if she was unwilling to confront the reality of what she had done, choosing instead to cling to her justifications. As the divorce proceedings began, Mark found himself reflecting on the lessons learned from this painful chapter of his life. He realized that love alone was not enough to sustain a relationship. Trust and mutual respect were equally vital. The betrayal had opened his eyes to the importance of communication and honesty, and he vowed to carry those lessons forward. While the road ahead was uncertain, he knew that he had to prioritize his own well-being and healing. In the midst of the emotional chaos, Mark also began to recognize the strength within himself. He had made a difficult decision, one that would ultimately lead him toward a healthier future. The journey of healing would be long, but he was determined to reclaim his sense of self and find happiness again. As he navigated the complexities of the divorce, he held on to the hope that brighter days lay ahead, free from the shadows of betrayal and heartache. The immediate consequences of Anna's affair had been devastating, but they also marked the beginning of a new chapter in Mark's life, one where he could rediscover his worth and rebuild his future on a foundation of trust and authenticity. As Mark embarked on the divorce process, he found a surprising sense of relief in the smoothness of the proceedings. Unlike many couples who face lengthy and contentious battles over significant assets, Mark and Anna had built a life that, while filled with love, lacked the material complexities that often complicate divorce. Their financial situation was relatively straightforward, with no shared properties or substantial investments to divide. This simplicity allowed them to navigate the legalities of their separation with a sense of clarity and purpose. The absence of significant assets meant that the divorce could proceed without the drawn-out negotiations that often characterize such situations. Mark and Anna agreed on the division of their modest belongings, and the discussions were surprisingly amicable. They both understood that their relationship had reached an irreparable point, and neither wanted to prolong the process with disputes over material possessions. This mutual understanding helped to ease the tension that often accompanies divorce, allowing them to focus on the emotional aspects of their separation rather than getting bogged down in financial disagreements. Another factor that contributed to the smoothness of the divorce was the absence of children. Without the complexities of child custody and support to navigate, Mark and Anna were able to avoid many of the emotional pitfalls that often accompany divorce proceedings. They both recognized that their decision to remain child-free had simplified their situation, allowing them to focus solely on their own needs and futures. This lack of child support obligations meant that both parties could move forward without the added stress of co-parenting arrangements or financial responsibilities tied to children. As the divorce process unfolded, Mark felt a growing sense of relief wash over him. The decision to end the marriage had been difficult, but the realization that he was no longer tied to a relationship filled with betrayal and heartache brought him a newfound sense of freedom. He could finally begin to envision a future unencumbered by the emotional weight of his past. The legal proceedings, while emotionally charged, were relatively straightforward, allowing him to focus on healing and moving forward. Mark's relief was palpable as he signed the final documents, officially ending his marriage to Anna. The act felt symbolic, marking the closure of a chapter that had been fraught with pain and disappointment. He took a moment to reflect on the journey that had led him to this point, acknowledging the lessons learned and the strength he had discovered within himself. The divorce was not just an end. It was also a new beginning, an opportunity to reclaim his life and pursue his own happiness. With the divorce finalized, Mark turned his attention to the future. He began to set new goals for himself, focusing on personal growth and self-discovery. The emotional turmoil of the past few months had taken its toll, but he was determined to emerge stronger and more resilient. He started exploring new hobbies, reconnecting with friends, and even considering furthering his education. The possibilities felt endless, and for the first time in a long while, he felt a sense of hope and excitement about what lay ahead. Mark also recognized the importance of self-care during this transitional period. He sought therapy to help process the emotions surrounding the divorce and to gain clarity on his feelings of betrayal and loss. The therapeutic space provided him with the tools to navigate his emotions and to understand the impact of his experiences on his sense of self-worth. Through this journey of healing, he learned to forgive himself for the pain he had endured and to embrace the idea that he was deserving of love and happiness. As he moved forward, Mark found solace in the support of his friends and family. They rallied around him, offering encouragement and understanding as he navigated this new chapter of his life. Their unwavering support reminded him that he was not alone in this journey and that he had a network of people who cared for him deeply. This sense of community became a vital source of strength as he continued to rebuild his life. In the months following the divorce, Mark began to rediscover his passions and interests. He took up hiking, finding peace in nature and the opportunity to reflect on his journey. He also started volunteering at a local charity, channeling his energy into helping others and finding fulfillment in giving back to the community. These activities not only provided him with a sense of purpose, but also helped him to forge new connections and friendships. Ultimately, the divorce process, while emotionally challenging, became a catalyst for Mark's personal growth and transformation. The implications of the divorce extended far beyond the legalities. It marked a turning point in his life, allowing him to shed the weight of his past and embrace a future filled with possibilities. He learned that endings could lead to new beginnings, and that the journey of healing was just as important as the destination. As he looked ahead, Mark felt a renewed sense of optimism. The pain of betrayal had shaped him, but it would not define him. He was ready to embrace the next chapter of his life with open arms, knowing that he had the strength to overcome any challenges that lay ahead. The divorce had been a difficult journey, but it ultimately paved the way for a brighter future, one where he could reclaim his happiness and build a life that reflected his true self. In the aftermath of her affair and the subsequent divorce from Mark, Anna found herself navigating a tumultuous landscape that was not only emotionally challenging but also financially devastating. In her quest for financial independence and success, she had become increasingly enamored with the world of finance influencers on social media. One particular influencer, who presented himself as a savvy investment guru, caught Anna's attention with promises of quick wealth and financial freedom. Drawn in by his charismatic persona and the allure of easy money, Anna began to follow his advice without conducting the necessary due diligence. The influencer's tactics were slick and persuasive, filled with testimonials from individuals who claimed to have transformed their lives through his guidance. Anna, eager to prove herself and regain a sense of control over her financial future, invested a significant portion of her savings into a scheme that promised high returns. Initially, the excitement of her investment filled her with hope, but as time went on, it became clear that she had fallen victim to a fraudulent operation. The influencer vanished, along with Anna's hard-earned money, leaving her devastated and scrambling to understand how she had been so easily deceived. The financial loss was staggering. Anna had poured not only her savings but also her dreams into this venture, believing it would set her on a path to success. The reality of her situation hit her hard. She had not only lost her money but also her sense of self-worth. The shame of being scammed weighed heavily on her, and she found herself grappling with feelings of inadequacy and regret. The once confident woman who had sought financial independence was now left feeling vulnerable and exposed. As news of Anna's misfortune spread, she faced ridicule and judgment from friends and family. Many of them had warned her about the dangers of following influencers without proper research, and now they felt justified in their skepticism. The laughter and snide remarks stung deeply, compounding her feelings of shame. Friends who had once admired her ambition now questioned her judgment, and family members expressed disappointment in her choices. Anna felt isolated, as if the very people she had hoped would support her were instead reveling in her downfall. The ridicule was relentless, and it only served to deepen her sense of despair. In the midst of this turmoil, Mark learned of Anna's financial loss through mutual acquaintances. While he had moved on from their relationship, The news stirred a complex mix of emotions within him. Initially, he felt a sense of vindication. Anna's downfall seemed to confirm the doubts he had harbored during their marriage. However, as he reflected on her situation, he couldn't help but feel a twinge of empathy. Despite the pain she had caused him, he recognized that Anna was now facing the consequences of her choices in a way that was profoundly difficult. Mark's emotional response was layered. He felt relief that he was no longer entangled in her financial misadventures, but he also grappled with a sense of compassion for the woman he had once loved. He remembered the dreams they had shared and the aspirations they had built together, and it pained him to see Anna struggling. The ridicule she faced from others only added to his discomfort. He understood all too well how easy it was to become a target for judgment when one was vulnerable. As Anna's financial situation worsened, Mark found himself reflecting on the lessons learned from their relationship. He recognized that while Anna's choices had led her down a dark path, they were also a reminder of the importance of accountability and the consequences of one's actions. He had once been in a position of emotional turmoil due to her betrayal, but now he saw her grappling with the fallout of her decisions in a different light. It was a stark reminder that life could change in an instant, and the pursuit of quick success often came with hidden dangers. Despite the emotional complexity of his feelings, Mark chose to maintain his distance from Anna. He understood that reaching out could lead to complications he was not prepared to handle. Instead, he focused on his own healing and growth, determined to move forward with his life. He had learned the hard way that relationships could be fraught with challenges, and he was committed to building a future that prioritized his well-being. As Anna continued to navigate the fallout from her financial loss, she found herself at a crossroads. The ridicule from friends and family stung, but it also ignited a fire within her. She realized that she needed to take responsibility for her choices and learn from her mistakes. The journey ahead would be difficult, but she was determined to rebuild her life and regain her financial footing. The experience served as a harsh lesson in humility, and Anna began to seek out legitimate resources to educate herself about personal finance, vowing never to fall victim to a scam again. In the end, Anna's financial loss became a pivotal moment in her life. It forced her to confront her vulnerabilities and reassess her priorities. While the ridicule from others was painful, it also served as a catalyst for change. She began to understand that true financial independence came not from quick fixes or flashy influencers, but from knowledge, diligence, and a commitment to making informed decisions. As she embarked on this new journey of self-discovery, Anna hoped to emerge stronger and wiser, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. In the wake of his divorce from Anna, Mark found himself at a crossroads, grappling with the emotional fallout of betrayal and loss. Determined to reclaim his life and move forward, he embarked on a journey of healing and self-improvement that would reshape his identity and outlook on the future. Recognizing the importance of self-care, Mark turned to fitness as a primary coping mechanism. He had always been somewhat active, but now he committed himself to a rigorous exercise routine that included running, weightlifting, and yoga. The physical exertion provided him with an outlet for his pent-up emotions, allowing him to channel his anger and sadness into something constructive. Mark found solace in the rhythm of his workouts, where each drop of sweat felt like a release of the pain he had been carrying. The gym became a sanctuary for him, a place where he could focus solely on himself and his goals. As he pushed his physical limits, he also began to notice positive changes in his mental state. The endorphins released during exercise lifted his spirits, and he felt a renewed sense of energy and vitality. With each passing day, he grew stronger, both physically and emotionally, and the transformation became a source of pride for him. Fitness not only helped him cope with his feelings, but also instilled a sense of discipline and purpose that had been missing during his tumultuous relationship with Anna. In addition to fitness, Mark discovered a passion for painting that became another vital outlet for his emotions. He had dabbled in art during his college years, but had set it aside as life became busier. Now, with the time and space to explore his creativity, he found himself drawn back to the canvas. Painting allowed him to express his feelings in a way that words often failed to capture. He would spend hours in his small studio, losing himself in the colors and textures as he poured his heart onto the canvas. Each brushstroke became a cathartic release, helping him process the complex emotions surrounding his divorce. The act of creating art provided him with a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment, reminding him that he was capable of beauty and expression even in the midst of pain. As Mark focused on his personal growth, he also developed a newfound interest in genuine finance education. The experience of Anna's financial loss had opened his eyes to the importance of understanding money management and investment strategies. He realized that while he had always been responsible with his finances, he had never taken the time to truly educate himself about the intricacies of personal finance. Determined to avoid the pitfalls that had ensnared Anna, he began to read books, attend workshops, and follow reputable financial educators online. Mark immersed himself in topics such as budgeting, investing, and retirement planning, eager to build a solid foundation for his financial future. This journey into finance was not just about securing his own financial stability. It was also a way for Mark to reclaim a sense of control over his life. He wanted to ensure that he was making informed decisions and setting himself up for success. The more he learned, the more empowered he felt, and he began to view financial education as a crucial aspect of his overall self-improvement. Mark's newfound knowledge also sparked a desire to share what he had learned with others, and he started volunteering at local community centers to help teach financial literacy to those in need. This sense of purpose further fueled his healing process, as he found fulfillment in giving back and helping others avoid the mistakes he had witnessed. Amidst his journey of self-discovery, Mark made a conscious decision to avoid dating until he felt fully healed. The emotional scars from his marriage to Anna were still fresh, and he recognized that jumping into a new relationship would only complicate his healing process. Instead, he focused on nurturing his own well-being and understanding what he truly wanted in a partner. Mark understood that he needed to rebuild his self-esteem and establish a strong sense of identity before seeking companionship again. This decision was not made out of bitterness or resentment. Rather, it was a commitment to himself and a promise to prioritize his emotional health. As the months passed, Mark began to notice significant changes within himself. The combination of fitness, painting, and financial education had transformed his outlook on life. He felt more confident, resilient, and self-aware than ever before. The journey of healing was not linear, and there were still moments of sadness and reflection, but he approached these feelings with a newfound sense of acceptance. Mark learned to embrace the complexities of his emotions, understanding that healing takes time and that it was okay to feel vulnerable. Through this process, Mark also reconnected with friends and family, allowing them to support him in his journey. He shared his experiences and insights, fostering deeper connections with those who cared for him. The support system he had once taken for granted became a vital source of strength, reminding him that he was not alone in his struggles. As he opened up about his journey, he found that others were inspired by his resilience and determination to grow. Ultimately, Mark's journey toward healing and self-improvement became a transformative experience that reshaped his identity. He emerged from the shadows of his past with a clearer sense of purpose and direction. The lessons learned from his marriage and subsequent divorce became stepping stones toward a brighter future. Mark realized that he was not defined by his past, but rather by his ability to rise above it. With each passing day, he grew more excited about the possibilities that lay ahead, ready to embrace life with open arms and a renewed sense of hope. As we reflect on the journey of Anna and Mark, several key themes emerge that resonate deeply with the complexities of human relationships. At the heart of this story lies the theme of betrayal. Anna's infidelity shattered the trust that had been the foundation of her marriage with Mark, leading to a painful unraveling of their relationship. This betrayal serves as a poignant reminder of how fragile trust can be and how easily it can be broken. It highlights the importance of open communication and honesty in any partnership, emphasizing that even small lapses in trust can have far-reaching consequences. The concept of karma also plays a significant role in this narrative. Anna's choices, driven by her desire for financial independence and validation, ultimately led her down a path of deception and loss. Her involvement with a fraudulent finance influencer resulted in significant financial repercussions, illustrating that actions have consequences. This theme encourages viewers to consider the long-term effects of their decisions and to be mindful of the paths they choose. It serves as a reminder that what goes around comes around, and that integrity and accountability are essential in both personal and financial matters. Mark's journey toward personal growth is another crucial aspect of the story. After experiencing the pain of betrayal, he took proactive steps to heal and rebuild his life. Through fitness, painting, and genuine financial education, Mark transformed his emotional turmoil into a powerful catalyst for self-improvement. His decision to focus on his well-being and avoid dating until he felt fully healed underscores the importance of self-care and introspection. Mark's story illustrates that even in the face of adversity, individuals have the capacity to rise above their circumstances and emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient. As we conclude this narrative, we invite viewers to reflect on the importance of trust in relationships. Trust is the bedrock of any meaningful connection, and it requires ongoing effort and commitment from both partners. Betrayal can leave deep scars, but it also offers an opportunity for growth and learning. By understanding the dynamics of trust and the consequences of our actions, we can foster healthier relationships and create a more supportive environment for ourselves and those we love. If you found this story compelling and insightful, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel for more content that delves into the complexities of human relationships, personal growth, and the lessons we can learn from our experiences. Your support helps us continue to create meaningful content that resonates with viewers like you. Don't forget to like this video and share it with friends and family who might benefit from these insights. Together, we can foster a community that values trust, integrity, and personal development. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and we look forward to sharing more stories that inspire reflection and growth in the future.